Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope you enjoyed our new little intro credits for the pre-dinner drinks.
James has had fun doing that today.
Yeah, I have. I've had a bit of fun. Yeah.
With a bit of assistance from me.
Yeah, a little bit. We filmed the drinking of the wine thing. I was looking for some stock footage. You can get free stock footage. It costs a fortune if you want to have a video of a man drinking red wine. It's ridiculous. So I've done it myself. I'm going to start selling it. I've undercut them all.
Great.
Yeah. There's some bloopers as well. I'll do that. We'll do that as a little show reel at some point. I'll upload those
Some blooper show
for a bit of fun. Yeah.
Mm.
So here we are. Another Friday night pre-dinner drinks. Who's in the house this evening? No one.
No one.
No one's watching at all. We're just sat
Do you know
around.
what? I feel really subdued this evening.
Do you?
Really.
Yeah.
Like I've been hit by a bus.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
I wonder if anyone noticed the bit at the beginning as well.
I didn't see the bit at the beginning.
I'll show you now. So those people that maybe literally no one's talking to us. Literally no one's talking to us at all. No one's saying anything.
Send us some questions. We do have one already.
Well, Peter said he was going to ask a dancing related question tonight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's not even here.
No, but we have one that was sent before.
Do we?
Do you?
Oh, yeah. That's a topic of conversation.
Oh,
though,
topic of conversation, yeah.
that we'll ask people. Oh, Margaret's here. Good evening, Margaret.
Good evening, Margaret.
Good evening, Margaret. We've got 2 people watching on YouTube, which is wonderful. We've got
So
9
popular.
on... oh, Peter is here. Hello, Peter. Got 7 on Facebook. Yeah. So, one of the topics of conversation this evening was your most memorable moment apart from marriage and children.
Mm-hmm.
So over to you, Kelly. What is your most memorable moment?
It's hard to say a most memorable moment apart from those. I do remember when we met, of course.
It was pretty memorable.
That was pretty memorable. Yeah, you remember a lot of detail about that as well.
I do. It's
don't
quite
you?
memorable.
But then also when we had our trip to Hiroshima. That's pretty memorable. And that's something that's always stuck with me.
Yeah,
as being something that I'll always be appreciative of.
Yeah.
For the obvious significance, I think. Yeah.
Well, going to the museum was pretty...
Yeah.
memorable,
So we
wasn't
went
it?
for a
But also-
competition, and but we had a couple of days after the comp, wasn't it?
But did we not go there before the comp?
I think we did.
We
But
went there before the comp, didn't we?
we had a couple of days either side. I can't remember exactly, but
Yeah.
so we had a day or so just to kind of wander around
Yep.
and see things. And obviously we went to the Peace Park and we went to the museum, and that was quite.
But the
Poignant.
poignant thing for me was the building, which was the epicentre of where the bomb was dropped. So the bomb was dropped just above it. The bomb obviously didn't impact. The bomb exploded in the sky, and
So the structure is still there.
it's still there. The steel structure is still there. It's a stark reminder of what happened. Really,
How
that this
harrowing.
twisted building is all still there, still standing, and everything around it was. A lot of it was made of wood, and this particular building was made of steel and concrete.
I think copper was.
Yeah, that's right. It had a
I
copper
think
roof,
copper,
didn't it?
It had a
The
copper roof, and you can still see the shape.
Yeah.
It was domed, wasn't it? Yeah. I've
very
got a
poignant.
picture of it, but I don't have it handy.
So
But
that
yeah,
was
I'd
very
say that's
poignant.
probably one of my most memorable travelling sort of experiences. Yeah.
Good evening, Baps. Baps is in.
Hello.
Baps is in.
Baps and
I wonder how many people missed my opening credits then.
Oh, quite a few. You put a lot of work into that, didn't
Oh, there's
you?
still all this stuff for people. They don't even pay any attention. We've got a great question here from Peter. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
One of my memorable moments is winning the British Championships as well. That's pretty memorable.
Mm-hmm.
A dancing related one, and international final. That was pretty good. My first 24, my first quarter final at Blackpool as well. That was pretty good.
So yours are more dancing. When
Well,
it was
yeah,
dancing.
there's some of
Well,
my
sort
memorable
of
moments,
dancing
yeah.
related, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, we said about meeting each other as well, didn't we, when we first met? That was quite
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, more so for me, it seems. You don't seem to remember all the details.
I do remember quite a few details.
Do you?
I don't remember what you wore, but I do remember what I wore. I
Oops,
sort of
daisy.
remember what you wore. White trainers, jeans.
White trainers, jeans. That's
T-shirt.
pretty...
That's
It's kind of a given though, isn't it,
what
really?
you wear anyway.
It's kind of a given. Oh, we're only on 4 now watching us on Facebook.
See you later then.
Yeah.
Those who decided to go.
Well, my mum saw it and she thought it was brilliant. Yes, I did see it. And long hair suits you. Who's she talking to? I don't know if she's talking to me or you. Obviously, long hair suits you. Margaret Latter says she saw the wine drinking made me pour myself one. Well, that was the idea, Margaret. Really, that was the idea. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You
I look gorgeous as a girl in the opening credits.
I didn't see it.
Do you-
So
I'll show you now because I can transition to it now.
I don't
so
quite understand that.
I'll
statement.
show you what. There's no sound though, so I'll be silent for a second. This is just to show people that might have missed it. I'm going to transition to it now, just
Physically
quickly.
test signal.
What I'll do though, I think I might try and do that properly, and actually set that up so it's actually me with a wig on.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. It'd be funny. It'd be funny. And then we can use it for other times, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be funny. I can use it. I can use it. So, Linda Bloomer said she was watching it and it was very enjoyable. Thank you,
good.
Linda. Thank you. And Kevin. I mean, it says Kevin Bloomer, but I'm guessing they're together.
Well, it's
Sat there together
Babs and
watching.
Co, isn't
Babs
it?
and Co. Yeah. And
So-
Diane
I
House.
presume Kevin is Co.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Diane House thought I looked gorgeous as a girl,
Oh.
which is understandable, of course.
Got a little thing going on here.
I know it is a bit too long, actually. It is a bit too long. It just gets a little bit too.
I think it was actually better longer.
Well, it will get longer, of course. Before it falls out, it's going to get longer.
This bit's going that way, isn't it?
I know it wants to. It's because I get. Hang on. It's because I get confused and do that. Hang on, I still did it wrong. There we go. It's because I get confused and do that while I'm looking in the cat. Anyway, I've now completely messed myself up. Do it again, Scale. Sort me out.
I can't do it.
Oh, don't worry about it.
That's
They're
better.
not bothered.
That's better. That's
They're not
better.
bothered, are they?
That's
They don't
better.
care how I look.
That's better anyway. Yes, they are.
Yeah, it's not quite right.
There we go.
Anyway, shall we? Anyone else got any memorable moments in their lives other than family and children? Peter obviously asked the question, but hasn't told us what his was. He's got a great. He's got a paragraph. His question is a paragraph. We'll get to that shortly. We'll get to it shortly. I heard back from the council regarding the performance in the park next week. They've given me loads of questions and loads of things I've got to jump through hoops and stuff like that. If I had not said anything, we could have just done it. But now,
I don't think so. I think
No.
you can just do it. I said that.
when I go running in the park, I see people doing PT all the time, and I'm confident they are not asking permission. They're just doing it.
Oh, I know someone you can ask.
Who?
LPTs.
Yeah, I know, but on Southampton Common, there are people doing personal training sessions and that sort
I
of
know
thing.
you
Boxing.
can ask them if they've had to
Oh, well, yeah.
jump through any hoops to be able to do that.
I wouldn't have thought so. I'd reckon they just rock up because it's a public park. They just do what they want, I guess. I think the council have got the wrong end of the stick. I think they want me. I think they think I want to run some sort of big grand performance for the general public, but it's not really. It's for our people. I'll reply to them and we'll provisionally put the date in next Saturday. But we've got to get some sort of public licence. So,
I'm not sure I can do next.
what are you doing next Saturday?
Busy.
Well, that's fine. I'll go on my own. I don't care. Peter has written his memorable moment. He says, one of my memorable moments was at a sing-sing in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. Wow. Myself, Sylvia and our two kids were the only Europeans amongst about 500 or so local tribesmen, all dressed up in their
Birds of Paradise.
Birds of Paradise finery. Amazing. Well, what were you doing in Papua New Guinea? You're lucky they didn't put you in a pot and eat you.
Okay.
Well, there's cannibalistic tribes
I know
in
there
Papua
are.
New Guinea still, aren't there?
There are. I used to live near it. Wow.
Like, you lived in Australia.
I know.
Wasn't that near? You weren't even near to a post box sometimes.
Near-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of countries, closer than we are
Yes.
now. That's all I mean.
Diane House is after some brownie points of some description. One of our most memorable times is starting at Dizzy Feet.
Oh.
She's full of it, isn't she? Absolutely full of it.
I think it was quite memorable.
Was quite memorable.
I remember the phone call.
I didn't even hear it. She's like, "Oh, you better get back to them quickly. They're going to go somewhere else."
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't like that at all. It was just very direct.
Yeah. A little bit of news.
We're in trouble here.
A little bit of news. This doesn't relate to, or there's nothing to do with the Fareham group. Anyone who's watching that comes to Fareham, this won't really help you. But we went to look at another venue today, which is in Millbrook. Great little studio, actually. Great little place. Free parking in a little car park or on the street, right outside. Quite easy to get to, actually, as well. And it looks likely that we'll be using that of an evening on Mondays, definitely, and then daytimes as well. We can have it, and we can have it pretty much from the 27th or so, potentially, to do things, which is exciting, isn't it? It's quite exciting. And they said that we can even, because it hasn't got any mirrors, we can have it like on a permanent-ish basis and be kind of resident there. And it hasn't got any mirrors in the room at the moment, but they said we can put mirrors up, Julian. So there we go.
He's got to help me with the house.
No, I think we need mirrors in the studio first. But it's got a wall where we can put mirrors up, which is great. Great idea. Peter Maisie says he worked in Papua New Guinea from 81 to 87.
Oh, wow.
What were you doing working in Papua New Guinea?
Maybe it's secret.
Or is it a secret?
Might be a secret.
Hush, hush.
Yeah.
Yeah, say no more. Say no more. Hey. You don't know what that is, do you? Bless her. Answers on a postcard, everyone. There's no points for that, but answers on a postcard. Let Kelly know where that's from, if you were paying any attention.
A few. I've had a few. What, drinks? No.
Yeah, a good one was performing in the Royal Albert Hall. One that had a real impact on me was visiting Auschwitz in Poland.
Yeah, I can understand that. Mm-hmm.
I can imagine. Yeah. Well, surely they should knock that down in Auschwitz, shouldn't they? Let's get rid of it. Shouldn't they knock it down?
I know.
They put all the statues down.
I know.
Should get rid of that, shouldn't they? Get rid of history. Can't have history.
Don't get political.
What were you doing performing in the Royal Albert Hall, Margaret? I hope you had your clothes on.
I reckon it was the fitness thing. I may have seen.
Wasn't it a big group of fitness instructors?
Yeah.
In her leotards.
Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Shiny lycra pants. That's what she was wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we answer Peter's question?
Go on then. I think
So
it's time.
Peter said, "My dance-related question is about judging.
Okay.
How does the judging process work? Do you watch a single dancer, a small group, or all of them? It's a bit difficult with only one pair of eyes. Do you look at one aspect of their dance technique, choreography, etc.? How do you score? Do judges have disagreements? How do you resolve disagreements? Have you ever seen the perfect dance?" I'll start with the last bit. Have I ever seen the perfect dance? No. No dance is perfect, ever. How does the judging process work? Well, most competitions will have a odd number of judges so that you can get a majority. So I have judged a comp where I was the only judge before, of course, and so whatever I judged was was right, of course. There's one judge, but normally you have at least 5 judges. Sometimes you have 3. That's so you can get a majority score.
It's usually just in a smaller competition.
Yeah, sometimes smaller competitions.
So I think the minimum normally is 5, 7, 9. Obviously, it depends on the size of the competition and how many people are in it and stuff. So.
In terms of the scoring, so if you've got a let's say you've got a very big competition with lots and lots of dancers in it. Let's say you've got a competition with 128 dancers in it. Okay. So what you will do is you'll be asked to bring back, 96. So through the heats, there might be 10 heats of 12 couples or so, 12 or so couples, 13 or so. And from those heats, you've got to bring back a certain number, essentially. So what would that be, 96? Approximately you're bringing back from 10 heats, 9-ish, 9-ish. So you're judging these couples and you just choose the 9 couples that you like, or maybe 10.
Numbers are on the back, of course.
The difficulty sometimes is that when you've got big competitions like that, the first heat might have 13 amazing dancers, and so you think, well, I like all of those, but I've got to be mindful. I've got to bring back 96 overall, so you bring back 8 of that heat, and then the next heat has got duds in it. They're all duds. They're all rubbish. So it's a bit tricky sometimes. So you have to put little markers at the bottom of your pad as possibles or maybes that you can add in and that sort of thing.
It's really hard. That obviously the bigger
the comp, the harder it is sometimes. Harder it is. Now when it whittles down, obviously it goes down from 96, 48, 24, into a semi-final of 12, and then you have a...
Six.
So the process is the same. You're just bringing back however many couples you want to bring back from each round, how many you're told to do. Typically it's halved, essentially. And then when you get to the final, you've got to place them first to sixth. And it's generally a comparison thing. It depends on the level of the competition you're judging. So when I've judged medalist competitions, essentially the priority is you're looking at footwork, and if it's graded like bronze, silver, gold, or beginners, novice, that sort of thing, you're judging the essentials, the basic fundamentals of the dancing. So if a couple have got beautiful feet and ankles in a using and footwork in a bronze level competition, but they're looking a little bit awkward up top, I personally would still ensure that they're rewarded for the usage of the feet and ankles and that sort of thing, because that's the most important thing at that level of dancing.
Isn't it? It's the
of course.
Start, yeah.
If a couple are looking amazing up here, but their feet are atrocious, then they shouldn't, in my opinion, get marked in that level of competition. As you go up through the grades, typically speaking, most couples will have decent footwork because they can't get to those sort of levels without being at least having a certain standard throughout their leg action and footwork. So you're not so much judging a specific aspect, you're looking at it as an overall package. And the better the couples become, the harder again it becomes to judge, because they're generally all pretty good, and then it becomes down to just your preference, how what you like to see. But of course
that's related to how they put together their choreography and interpret the music and things like that. So it becomes a bit more like judging art, you know. I like spots, he likes stripes, for instance. And it's hard to put your finger on exactly why.
The way I would judge a final, so when I've judged a high level competition, is that I try and find either the best or the worst in the final. So who I think is the best and who I think is sixth, and I work from that end. I work from the end into the middle. So that's how I generally do it.
That's how I do it as well.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, really.
Yeah, usually for me it depends. You know, you just watch, say, 6 couples on the floor, and sometimes first can be really clear and sixth can be really clear, can't it? So that kind of makes it easier. And sometimes I find the hardest part is marking the rest in the middle, because sometimes they can be so close, and actually you look at it and you think, well, I like that, but I don't like that. But you could throw it in the air and let them land.
Yeah.
So something that, when I was competing, I used to always find it really heart-wrenching when we'd get a bad, or what we thought was a bad result, you know, like sixth or not, whatever. Then I realised when I've started judging and stuff that just because you're sixth doesn't mean that you're a bad dancer.
No, it's just really tough.
Because it just means that everyone was probably pretty good.
But of course, when you're judging a final of couples and you've got a number of couples on the floor, judges aren't looking at you all the time. They're looking at you for maybe 5 seconds.
And they might watch you at your worst bit.
Yeah, they're looking at you when you're doing your worst, and you don't get marked very well.
You've only got a minute 30, minute 40.
Well, it depends. Major competitions, generally you're looking at just under 2 minutes, but for some of the smaller comps, minute 10, minute 15.
But even so,
it's no time at all.
It's not a long time.
It's no time at all. So you've got to judge very, very quickly. The judges are not allowed at any comp to discuss their markings whilst the competition is taking place. So if Kelly and I were on a judging panel with you, Peter, we wouldn't be allowed to, during the competition, we wouldn't be allowed to discuss the competition. We wouldn't be allowed to discuss it. And the chairman of the adjudicators would ensure that that doesn't happen. And to be honest, whenever I've judged anything I've ever been involved with, no one ever does. I mean, they're all generally very professional in that respect. They may, of course, come to the competition with a preconceived idea about what they're going to do. And there are cliques, and there are groups of judges in our profession that tend to stick together and support a certain band of dancers, group of dancers, or style of dancer. So you do get that sort of thing.
That can happen.
No, it does happen. Not a can, it does happen. It's a fact. Fact, it does happen. And they will support a certain part of the dancing. So they'll all... Because they can talk about it beforehand, they can talk about it afterwards. It's just at the comp they can't say anything. So, you know, and I'm sure some of them do sneaky stuff under the table, talking little indications and stuff like that. So we never have disagreements in that respect. Not at the time, anyway. Do you look at one aspect of dancing? I've covered that. And do dancers who don't make it through ever have a strop with the judges? I've never known that personally. I've had strops in changing rooms, and I have wrecked a changing room before. Proper rock and roll. I should have won though. I mean, it's ridiculous. There is one occasion though after a result that I saw a very top level professional go and have words, literally immediately from the result, go and have words with one of the not one of the judges though, she was one of the teachers on the front row of a competition, major competition. But I've never seen it where a competitor goes up to a judge on the day of a comp and has a go. I've never seen that actually. No. So we're generally pretty respectful and gentlemanly in our conduct. I hope that answers your question.
Probably when people go home, they scream and shout and say I don't like that. Don't like that person.
I've tried it before, but so it doesn't really work.
What, scream and shout?
Not scream and shout, but just why didn't you mark me? But I mean, I want to be told that. Well, no one ever said anything though. They didn't say, well, you weren't good enough. Alan did actually. Alan said that. He said that at the wrong time actually. Yeah. Anyway, there we go, Peter. That was quite a
profound,
deep question for you, and well answered, I believe.
We hope that made sense. It's tough, actually, isn't it? It's a tough world.
So Margaret says it was a teachers' event, diamond anniversary of the Women's League of Health and Beauty. Ooh, that sounds fancy. Yeah. My mum wonders, Peter, if you were working in a cooking pot factory in Papua New Guinea.
Why would you wonder that?
Well, that cooking pot.
Oh.
Yeah. All right.
Somehow I don't think so.
No. No. Any more questions? It's a bit low on the ground tonight, aren't we? Well, we'll leave it there, shall we?
Well, sun's out, I suppose, isn't it?
Wow.
Sort of. Sun's been out, but then it's been cloudy. I don't know, it's weird. Maybe it's the weather getting to me. Maybe I'm very affected by it all.
Maybe, yes. Yes. This is quite nice. It's an English sparkling, isn't it, Kel?
It is.
It's quite nice. Yeah. It'll do, won't it?
From our little local.
Yeah, they've opened up again, which is wonderful. Our
little local
wine shop, and he found a couple of bottles of wine under his stairs, and I know I love it. Sometimes we get some absolute diamonds because they're sitting there under his stairs for years, and he forgets to take them to the shop, and so we've opened up tonight. I've opened up earlier.
They keep coming though.
I know he must have either he has got a really really big space under his stairs.
Must be a basement or
or
something.
He's just, they're not coming from under his stairs, they're just, it's like a metaphor.
Yeah.
But but this is, I've opened up a 2001 Rioja that he
It
gave
does
us.
seem to have an endless supply though.
Yeah. So a 19-year-old Rioja.
Why doesn't he drink them?
I don't know. We've got a 1990, was it 92 or 94? 94. A 1994 Australian he's given us as well, so we've saved that one. You don't think so? No. We've had some good ones, haven't we?
We have.
We have had some rancid stuff.
Yeah,
that could have cleaned the toilet.
The one though, you just...
I know.
You pulled that face.
If only
so
we'd been
funny.
videoing it, actually.
It was so funny. I wish I'd recorded it.
Yeah, it would have been great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
There was a white wine that looked like a red.
Yeah, there was, wasn't there? Yeah.
Terrible. Who would even dare drink it?
No. We didn't even touch it, did we?
No.
No, we opened it and smelt it, and it was revolting.
Smelt rancid. Yeah.
Anyway.
Fun times. Imagine all the bottles of wine that have not been drunk, that have gone bad in the world.
I know.
Terrible.
Tragic. Got a question, Kel. Kelly, what is your most memorable dancing experience? I think you've kind of covered that, haven't you?
My most memorable dancing experience?
Physically dancing or dancing as a whole? Because dancing as a whole was going to Hiroshima, wasn't it?
No, because that was more to do with seeing Hiroshima, really, and seeing what happened there. Not so much about the dancing. Although, I mean, that entire trip was quite an experience, was it? We got taken to this lovely private dinner, and
it was a wonderful
one of these
time.
kind of like 7 courses actually. Things. And
we went to a private members club in Hiroshima, and the gentleman that was organising the competition, Tommy Sakamoto, yeah, he's Mr. Hiroshima. Because dancing was massive there in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, massive, and he was the Japanese champion, and so he was a very influential man So he took us to this members club in Hiroshima. And,
so we got treated really nicely, looked after.
Wonderful.
Really well.
We've never had a dinner like it. It was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't particularly remember the food apart from the spaghetti. There was one course that was spaghetti. I absolutely loved it. It was so tiny because it was like I said, it was 7 courses.
I thought we had we had 14. I'm sure it was 14.
No,
courses.
that was another night.
Oh, was that another
night? That was another night. Yeah.
Went there twice, didn't we?
And we just got endless amounts of whatever champagne and wine and stuff like that. But
they gave the wine list, didn't they, to Timmy House? Was it Timmy?
No, to Robin.
To Robin Short, and he just chose the most
I think he
expensive.
ordered like a £500 bottle of wine.
Yeah, they kept coming. They kept coming though.
It was something special. It was something to experience. So there was that side of it, and then there was that. But dancing, I still remember my first competition as a child.
I do too.
And
I do too. I'll tell you why in a second.
I was 9 years old, and I had a pink lycra little dress. So
She's still got it. She wears it sometimes for me on a Saturday night.
Very simple, but I loved this pink lycra dress. I thought it was awesome. But I remember being so nervous about it, and I was holding on like this, and my hand was like this. And the thing I remember distinctly is my hand going like this, and we were doing a waltz. And came off the floor, and my partner said to me at the time, he said, "I could feel you shaking." I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty nervous." Then we won, and I think that was what I suppose struck me, is that I think there was only 2 of us on the floor.
It was only one couple in the comp, but she won, bless her.
I think there was 2 of us, but we won, and I thought, wow, like I might be alright at this. So I think it gave me a little bit of confidence, the fact that I was so nervous, and I thought, oh, there's just no way I'm going to do any good at this. But it was all fine, and that's quite memorable. The other one for me is Royal Albert Hall. There was only one time when I felt really confident, but you were really ill, unfortunately. We walked out into the floor, and I thought, it's no big deal. Because all the other times when I competed, I always felt very intimidated.
That was our last international, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, I always felt really, really intimidated, and never felt like I deserved to be there.
Everyone said we started off that every dance great, and then by the end, it just...
Yeah, and James, unfortunately, was really ill.
I was really,
got
really
a cold
sick.
The night before, didn't you?
Well, I was feeling something coming the night before, because we did the qualifying rounds before.
Yeah.
And then went to the Albert Hall, and I was rough.
Yeah, so by the time we got
so
there,
rough.
It had fully sunk in, hadn't it?
And it's the only time, because I was so rough, and I'm a machine. People, I'm a machine. I was so rough, I didn't want to make it. I didn't want to get through the next round. Yeah. I was so pleased we didn't make it, and I was gutted.
And I was gutted as well, because I was actually feeling really good. I was feeling much more confident than I normally was. I remember just walking out to the floor thinking, it's just a building. It's just a floor. They're just people judging.
And if only we'd known at the time that was the last time we were ever going to dance there, because then I might have then wanted to make it into the next round and danced a bit better.
Well, even when we did our last comp, we didn't know it was going to be
No,
our
we
last
didn't.
That was also quite memorable.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
our last comp was quite memorable.
Yeah. Hello, Teresa Latter and Jonathan.
Hello.
They're at last, apparently. They were late. Peter Maisie's next memorable experience, he's got a list of them, was sitting on Obiri Rock. Is that right? Obiri Rock? Looking out over the East Alligator River. This was just west of Amaland. I don't know where that is. Arnhem-land. Kelly should know that. Obiri Rock is a site of Aboriginal paintings, almost spiritual.
Oh. I've not heard of it, actually.
Kelly doesn't actually know a lot about Australia.
Stop it.
Well, it's massive, isn't it, as well? So it's difficult to know everything that's going on.
Well, I know Uluru.
Uluru? He lives up the road, actually.
Uluru, which is Ayers Rock.
Yeah. That's the Aboriginal name, isn't it?
Yeah, Uluru, in the Northern Territory. But I've never been. I mean, there's so much of Australia I've not seen. I lived in Townsville, and I travelled a lot up and down the East Coast. Never went to the West Coast.
You still haven't been to the West Coast, have you?
So I said, never been to the West Coast.
I've been invited to judge the Perth Championships next year. Yeah.
Perth apparently is lovely.
But I've
never been.
Yeah, I've been invited to judge it.
But yeah, I was born in Townsville, so I've been to Cairns, all the little towns in between. Cairns, Mackay, Rockhampton, then down to sort of Brisbane way. Lived on the Gold Coast, worked in Brisbane for a little while. Travelled a lot to Sydney and Melbourne. And then lots of little towns in Queensland, which can't remember the name of half of them. Bowen, Ayr, Ingham. But I didn't go inland very much. So, what are you looking at?
Nothing. Don't worry
dinner.
yourself. Don't worry yourself.
I'm not terribly hungry
Shame.
because I'm feeling a little
Drunk?
worse. No, I don't feel drunk.
You feel worse for?
Chubby.
Okay. Well, you've got to start sweating a bit more.
Well,
Mossman, he says.
Mossman. I've heard of it. I can't remember much about it though.
Kelly, did your parents have a ute and a scabby dog in the back? Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely did. They still have.
No, they haven't. I don't think I've got a ute anymore. But yes, they had a ute. I remember my dad had a yellow one, yellow ute. And did they
Keep
have a
talking, I'm
dog?
just gonna sort this out.
We had dogs as kids. So where are you going?
I'm just going to sort this out and then you keep talking.
Oh my goodness, I don't like it when I've never been on my own before here. Don't like it. So my dad had a yellow ute, and we did have lots of dogs. We had a dog who, I don't know what type of dog she was. She was probably a mixed breed of something. My dad called her a mongrel, and she was called Jamie. And then we had a little chihuahua for some strange reason. And that was called Jessie. And she ran off after a garbage truck. We never saw her again. She ran off. Don't know what happened to her. Mossman was a sugarcane town. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Funny enough, my cousins used to own a sugarcane farm as well. But they were near Bundaberg, so I don't know if that's anywhere near that sort of town. And Bundaberg, obviously, is where they make Bundaberg rum and stuff like that as well. Yeah, so I had lots of family that live in Bundaberg, and we visited there quite often on school holidays and stuff. That was quite nice. Yeah, scabby dogs. We had the chihuahua, we had the mongrel, we had the chihuahua, we had a King Charles Cocker Spaniel given to us because a family didn't want it anymore. And then we had a miniature fox terrier. And then my mum and dad ended up with an English bulldog that was my brother's. So we've had lots of dogs.
Everyone.
Here's Ella.
Say good evening, Ella.
She doesn't like that.
I don't. Come on then, come and sit on my lap for a bit. Just for a bit. Because they're new pyjamas, aren't they?
No, they're not new.
They're nice though.
It's
I
just
like
that
those.
I have to iron those ones. So.
Oh, sorry. Just for a little bit. Just because it's nice to be together as a family, isn't it? Look at it. So picture perfect.
Happy.
So picture perfect.
I'm not happy.
I was being
If you're
sarcastic.
happy and you know it, pull a funny face. If you're happy and you know it, pull a funny face. If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, Okay.
I've eaten, talking about sugarcane farms, I've eaten it. Sugarcane. Well, not eaten there, but you just suck it.
Suck it and see.
Sweet. Really sweet.
You'd like to eat that, wouldn't you? Sugar cane.
Oh, just give me one now and then I can just suck the sweetness out of it.
We haven't got any, I'm afraid.
We have to take this one to Australia one day, of course.
We were planning to go to Australia next year. But that's...
Well, which was going to be this year, wasn't it?
No. This year was our trip that we've had to cancel.
Oh, yeah.
Next
that's
year
true.
was going to be Australia, but that's
Yeah.
obviously not going to happen either, I don't think, is it?
That was going to be when I was 7, wasn't it?
Well, no, you'd have been
um,
6.
I don't know. We'll
I
have to
had
see.
planned to send you and Mummy at Easter. Then I was going to come and visit you. I was going to do some work on the way in Asia. But I don't think that'll happen now either.
But I
Hello.
will come with you.
Hello, Ella. Did you enjoy being with Nana the other night? That's from Linda Bloomer. She's messaged.
Oh, yes.
Say yes, thank you, Linda. You say yes, thank you, Linda. You're not going to say it now, are you?
Because you're forcing her to. If you force the issue, she won't
What
say
did you
it.
do with Nana the other day? What did you make?
I can't. Oh, the mask.
Oh, I was gonna say
And what else?
paper mache.
You just-
Paper mache.
Paper mache mask. There was something else you made as well, wasn't there?
No.
I saw a picture of it, of you licking the bowl
Oh,
And
yeah.
the spoon. So you
Cake.
can't... Yeah, you didn't tell us about that, did you?
Making a cake.
You didn't tell us you made a chocolate cake.
Oh, it's because...
You told me you won't eat chocolate cake.
No, it was a different kind of one.
She's very selective about these things.
She's been a little bit secretive here, I think.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think she wants to tell us that she had a chocolate cake.
No.
Did you eat it all? Where's our slice?
Oh, Nana just forgot to bring you one. Nana was going to bring you both one, but she just forgot.
Was she?
This
Really?
is
I
serious.
think
Really?
they're little lies.
No, it isn't. I'm telling the truth.
So, what was in the chocolate cake? What was in it? What did you put in it? Do you remember how you made it?
Yes.
How did you make it?
So first some eggs.
Uh-huh.
Then I put them in. And
Uh-huh.
then I did it with Emily.
Did you?
Because Nana was doing some other stuff. So
Right.
then we poured some of that oily thingy.
Oily thingy. Yeah.
Like vegetable oil, probably.
Yeah.
Wasn't engine oil, was it?
No.
No? Was it not aromatherapy oil, was it? No?
That's piece.
Oh, sorry, you speak.
Ella.
I'm sorry.
Look that way and speak, because I can't see your face.
Oh.
And then
She can't do it, can
then
she?
we just poured.
Go on, carry on.
So you put the oil in.
Then we just poured the cake thing in.
Oh, it was a pre-made cake mix, was it? I see.
And then we just mixed it up.
And what about the icing? What was that made of?
Oh, it didn't come with icing.
Oh, no icing.
Well, it did, but it just came in with it on the cake. Because when you mixed it up, it got hard icing.
Oh, okay.
But then when you just put it in your mouth, it just
Softens.
Nice. Nice.
no, I mean melting.
Was it tasty?
What kind of cake do you want for your birthday?
Puppy cake.
A
Puppy cake.
When is your birthday, Ella?
The 1st of August.
No, it's not.
The 2nd of August.
You can't remember the date of your own birthday.
Emily says, hello. Emily's watching as well.
I spent 6 weeks in Australia and Tasmania with my husband. I was reading
Sorry. I didn't realise we had a few messages come through on there.
6 weeks, so that's a good trip,
Yeah.
Margaret. You've definitely got to go for quite a length of time if you've
Yeah.
not been.
It's a massive... If you're going to tour a bit, it's difficult. Yeah, you've got to go for a while. Yeah.
There is a lot to see, isn't there?
Yeah, what happens at Nana's stays at Nana's, apparently. That's what Kevin...
What's your favourite pastime sport?
Well, football, of course.
His is football.
And he's being funny because back here he says, what's your favourite colour blue? Yeah.
Well, I don't have a favourite pastime sport.
What's the significance of the yellow car on the window ledge?
Aw.
Okay, that's an interesting
That's a
question.
nice question,
You can
actually.
grab it, Kel.
It's the car, isn't it?
When I was a little boy, I wanted a Beetle. I always wanted a Volkswagen Beetle. So my nan bought me
Yes.
a replica Volkswagen Beetle. Show them the dent, Kel.
Yeah, there's a little...
So
Can you
this,
see that?
my nana bought me this when I was about, I don't know, 10, something like that, and it came with an official bit of documentation, like a logbook and that sort of thing. It's an old model Volkswagen Beetle, and it was on the shelf by the front door and on the radiator cover. Sorry, and Kelly had. You didn't put the mirror up, did you?
I was taking the mirror down or putting it up. I can't
Anyway.
remember.
The mirror fell down and
hit
landed
it.
on the car and dented it.
If you remember rightly, we were doing it together. It wasn't just me.
I wasn't there when it happened.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't.
You used to say it wasn't.
Anyway, gutted.
It's a little bit dented now, but it's still in ship
Gutted.
shape.
Yeah, so that's
You're saying it like
James has obviously driven it. Thanks very much, Alan. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So it's an old. That's old now. It's 30 odd years old.
I don't know how old.
But it's
I don't know how
yeah.
old it is.
30 odd years old.
Essentially, it's
That's
just
not
a
even a
memorable
number.
gift from
Yeah, it's a
your-
memorable gift from my nan.
From your
30 old
nana,
isn't
yeah.
even a number. It's just it's old.
What do you want to drive when you're older? What car would you like, Ella?
You said you would give me your car.
Right.
Ella thinks she's getting Daddy's car when she's 18.
No, Daddy just said that.
What car would you like though when you're allowed to drive? If you could choose any car, what car would you have?
I would actually have a Porsche, but I wouldn't want to take yours though.
Why?
Just because.
You wouldn't take. I don't know why she's got a whisper that. I wouldn't want
Is
to
it
take
because
yours
it's the wrong
though.
colour?
No, it's just because I don't want to take Daddy's, so he has to buy another one.
Oh!
Well, I'll
Very
get you a
demanding.
Vauxhall Corsa. How's that?
What is that?
A Vauxhall, little
That
Vauxhall
was my
Corsa.
first car. a Vauxhall
Mummy's first car
Corsa.
twice actually. Mummy's first car when she came to this country, and back in Australia as well. I know. Dun dun dun.
Maybe you can even have a pink one by then.
Has it got a name? The car? No, the car's not got a name. It's just a yellow Beetle.
It's the yellow Beetle.
It hasn't got a name.
That's it.
You could have a Beetle actually. Beetles are quite cool.
Is it like a
I
beetle?
quite. What's those ones?
Is it like an animal beetle? Like
No, that's a car Beetle. But there's newer ones now that look like a modern version of it.
What are those new ones that look like old cars? Do you know the ones I'm talking about?
Plymouth.
Angela used to have one.
Oh, a Toyota. No, Nissan. Oh, what's it called? I'll have to tell you.
They're quite retro. looking.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
they're really
called.
nice actually.
I
quite
They're all
like
convertibles, aren't they? I'm sure it was a Nissan, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but it's got
Nissan begins with a P, I think. No, it's not that. Is it that? No, it's not that.
I don't think it's a Nissan.
No, it's not. It's a Toyota, isn't it? It's Japanese. That's for sure.
They're new, but they're always made to look like old retro
Well, I don't think they
cars.
make them anymore.
Like Beetles and things.
Yeah.
It's not a Beetle though. It's
No, maybe it isn't a Toyota.
I can't remember. Anyway, it'll come back to us, won't it? Kev owned a Volkswagen Beetle in his younger days. They're quite cute, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, technically, my car that I've got is based on a Beetle. Careful, Ella.
Ju said when we were in Townsville, it seemed to be miles from anywhere. What was it like being brought up there?
It is desolate.
I remember parts of it are really, really nice. I mean, the fact that it is quite far away from everything. Lovely beach and all that sort of thing. Not that I, really went to that a lot because you had to drive 20 minutes and that was a long way when you live in Townsville. Anything more than 5 minutes away is a long way. It was very hot and quiet, I suppose, compared to living over here. The best memories I have are going out to see my grandparents out at Balgal Beach, which was about a 40-minute drive from Townsville, and much nicer, kind of quieter place, just in general, really. Very, very simple. That's what it was like. Going to school there, I didn't enjoy very much. I hated school, really. Parts of it were quite good, I suppose, and I'm still in touch with friends and things from school, which is great. But the whole education thing, I remember I just couldn't wait to be finished with it. I just was never, I couldn't get into it at all. And in some ways, that's kind of how I felt about Townsville as well. So as soon as I was old enough, so I was 18, and I thought, that's it. I've had enough of this. There's nothing to do, nothing here for me. Hated it. So I moved to the Gold Coast, basically. And that was an hour-and-a-half flight from my parents. So it was pretty tough, actually, when I was 18, to move that far away from security and the comfort of home and all that sort of thing. And I think from 18 to sort of 22, when I moved over here, I did a lot of growing up.
Nissan Figaro.
Figaro, that's the one. I quite like the look of those.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're any good as cars, but I love the look of them.
Yeah, they're great.
I have really good memories of going to like creeks and things like that and going swimming and all that sort of stuff, which nowadays sounds horrendous because I think of all the diseases and stuff you can get from swimming in a creek or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I had a lovely childhood really.
That is a Nissan Figaro. If anyone's want to know what they are, like that.
Yeah, they're retro.
And a friend of ours used to have one.
Do they still make them?
I don't know.
You
I
see
don't
them
think
now,
so.
do you?
So it's a little convertible. Well, it's not a proper convertible, but
It's cute though.
yeah, it's cute.
Stylish. It's very
No, I
stylish.
think it's got a hard top. I do like them actually. You can
Yeah.
get them really quite
But I
reasonable
don't
price.
know if they're any good as cars as such, are they? They're like slow and stuff.
Well, I mean they're not. Yeah, they're not sports cars. No, they're
No.
just a little car to pop around in.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
They're cute anyway.
Yeah, I think they're very yeah, it's very Japanese, isn't it? Very Japanese looking, you can imagine. Yeah. Anyway, that's a Figaro.
Yeah. So, I don't know. What else were we saying?
I don't know. I was looking for the car.
I was talking about Townsville growing up there.
Everywhere in Oz is far away from everywhere. I had a neighbour in PNG, Papua New Guinea,
Papua New Guinea.
who used to be a teacher at an outback school. They used to drive a couple of hours on a Saturday to a cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
We used to have a drive-in cinema. You know, the outdoor ones. I used to love that. I did. Really loved that.
yeah.
And we'd go and eat rubbish food, like hot dogs and stuff, and ice cream.
Oh, Alan's been telling us as I was looking for it.
Listen, Figaro.
That's child cruelty to give her a Nissan, not a Nissan, a Vauxhall Corsa. Sorry, Alan. I was sorry. The trouble is, I've got the Dizzy Feet feed on that tablet and the watch party that I'm sharing onto my personal Facebook page. So I have to switch between the two. When I switch, obviously I don't see the messages on the other one. So I didn't see your messages. I'm very sorry, Alan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have you done me any music yet?
What else is there? Any
I don't
other
know.
questions, or are we?
There's no more questions. No one really asks us many questions, to be honest.
Not really. They just.
There's all these people. There's 12 people watching.
Do you
apparently.
like crafts? Do you make lots of crafts?
This is at Nana's. This was for
Ah,
Ella.
yeah,
That was a while
yeah.
back.
She does make lots of crafts at Nana's, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she does.
Yeah.
But my mum was.
An artist.
My mum went to art college, and she is very creative. So she likes to do those sort of things with Ella. Well, she did with all of us actually. I remember she did stuff with me as well, and all my brothers as well. Yeah, and my sister. So, yeah, she's very good at drawing nudes. So I'm waiting for her to do some nudes for me. I'm still waiting for them.
She's waiting for the models.
No, I'm not modelling for her.
No, that's not what
No.
I mean.
She doesn't need anyone. She just draws them from memory anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
So
should-
if you're watching, Mother, I'm still waiting for my nudes. They're like pen and ink sort of thing. You know, they're stylish. It's not gratuitous. That is quick. There's some money in the drawer.
Which one?
Third one down.
Third one down.
Yeah, just take the tin for a second, otherwise you'll waste time. Quick, Kel.
Goodness me.
They're going to think we're not
Put
in.
me under pressure.
I know, I'd like to do that. I like to do
Put me
that.
under pressure.
I like to do it. Yeah, I have found some, Melanie. I haven't had time to go through that list, to be honest. But I have found some music, but it's difficult. There's a lot to get through. You're coming down in the Jaguar for Simply Jaguar at Beauty on the 19th of July, is that? Or the 19th of August, Alan. I'm talking to a gentleman called Alan Pearson, who's a dancer, who has a fleet of fancy cars and wonderful cars. So just in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, people. Yeah. What else have we got? Anyone got any questions? There was stuff to do in Townsville. There used to be a roller hockey team. You could have played that. I don't think Kelly would have liked to have done that, to be honest. A bit of roller hockey. That's not really her. It's not her scene, I don't think. Not her scene. Yeah. She's coming back now. She's coming back. So we're not going to sit in silence. They did do that very quickly, didn't they? Way quicker than I was expecting. That's 20 minutes. Apparently you could have joined the roller hockey team. Kelly has no interest in sport whatsoever.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, I didn't join it. I got into dancing, you see. And that took up all my time outside of school. It took up more time than actually school did, because
Yeah. She didn't bother going to school.
Well, sometimes I didn't actually, because if we had a competition, I'd sort of have.
We had to travel, didn't you?
We had to travel, so I'd often have the day before off to go to these places, dance on the day, and then have the day after. So they were usually on the weekends, of course, but sort of the day before we'd be getting ready, and then we'd travel, and then we'd do the comp, and then come home, and then I'd have the day, like from the Friday and the Monday off of school. So I did miss a lot of school in my later years because I was more interested in doing comps. Yeah, but I still did alright. It wasn't didn't fail anything. Didn't like maths, but why are you looking at that stuff?
I was checking to see if there was anything for this by another means.
What?
Not telling you, Diane.
What have you got for dinner
Not
tonight?
telling you.
Takeaway.
Not telling you.
Rubbish. Awful stuff.
Not telling you.
Stuff we shouldn't be eating. And I don't mean meat or anything like that. It's all
Big juicy steak.
it's all vegan friendly.
Big juicy steak.
But it's not very diet friendly.
You have to go do some exercise tomorrow, aren't you? Don't. You feel so much better for the exercise, Kelly.
No, I don't mind doing the exercise. It's just I have to start all over again.
And it's exciting. It's a new challenge. It's a new dawn. It's a
did it
new day.
Stop
I was gonna
cutting
do
me
the song. I
off
was gonna do
like
the song.
that.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
I hate it when you
It's
do
a
that.
new life for you. Go on, Carol.
No, I don't
I'm
want to say anything.
feeling good. Sorry, go on.
No, the point is I'm not feeling
sorry.
good.
Dancers can skate. Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire. That's 2, Peter. You've listed 2 dancers that can
I
skate.
did go ice. Funny enough, in Townsville we had an ice skating rink.
Well, it's the only place you can go to keep cool.
Yeah.
That and the shopping centre.
So it was indoors, of course. But yeah, we had an ice skating rink. I went quite often with a friend of mine. I wasn't any good. I was too scared. But yeah, we did go. Hire the skates, wearing the thickest socks you could find, wearing somebody else's sweaty skates.
Yeah, not pleasant, that is it?
Awful.
No.
$5 though. That's all it cost.
$5.
So it was cheap. I think it's all closed down now though. I don't know if it still runs anymore.
Right. Margaret says, who else has memorable moments to share?
Oh.
She's just being nosy. And she just wants to know everyone's memorable moments.
It's interesting, isn't
I
it?
know, it is interesting.
I think it's interesting.
But there's only 3 of us watching now, Margaret. It's Kelly, myself and you.
No, it's not. There's 11.
I know, I'm only messing about. Okay. Alan says he's just been doing his Argentine tango with Sandra and Santiago. Facebook video works well, you should try it. Well, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially,
We were planning to do something, but now they've allowed us potentially to go back to doing classes. It might be that we don't bother doing it here because we actually will be able to go and do a class, but we've got to wait to hear back from our fair and venue to find out whether or not we can work on a Wednesday. Alan said he had his first meal out last night. I saw that on Facebook, yes, with the precious one. An Italian. Have we been out yet? We did. We went out on the day, didn't we?
It was Italian as well.
We went for an Italian lunch. No, was it? What day did we go? Monday?
Saturday.
That's right, we went Saturday, yes. Last Saturday.
Saturday we tend to go out, do the food shop and do what other bits we need to do.
Oh, you said we had some lunch out, didn't we?
And we decided, well, since there's somewhere open,
Might
let's
as
have
well.
lunch.
It's quite nice, wasn't it?
It was nice to be waited on. It was nice, to feel kind of normal.
Just felt a bit strange.
Bit weird at the start.
Bit strange.
Yeah. Because they were like, "What's your name? What's your phone number? What's
yeah.
this?"
So I gave them all
Take
false
your
details.
temperature.
All false
Like,
details.
Zap you with the thing.
No, I mean my telephone number and my name. I could use it.
They're not allowed to.
You alright, sweet cheeks?
There's new episodes of Hello Ninja.
Are there?
There's season 3.
Tell everyone about Hello Ninja because I don't know if they know about it.
I don't think they're going to care about Hello Ninja.
I think they will. I think they will care about Hello Ninja.
It is actually a bit funny.
Is it a bit funny?
Well, it is.
Well, Hello Ninja's not as funny.
As Gumball.
Gumball's hilarious, isn't it?
Alan had steak.
Why are you apologising, Alan?
You
You've
don't
got
have
to
to
apologise.
apologise.
You weren't eating my steak, as in my rump. You were eating some poor beef, a bit of poor cow's bottom.
Stop it.
Yeah, what
You should be saying sorry to that animal.
We once used to eat it.
We did. I can't deny it doesn't taste quite delicious.
Not anymore, but
No. What do you eat? What's your favourite dinner, Ella?
chips.
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 Ella, here's a very important question. It's very serious. You've got to make a decision.
And Gumball.
You've got to choose. You've got to choose now, one or the other. Okay, think very carefully.
What?
Daddy or chips?
What's your
If you
favourite?
had to choose, what's your favourite? Daddy or chips?
Daddy or chips? Daddy or chips?
Both.
She's so diplomatic.
No, seriously, both. I love you and chips.
As much as chips?
And mummy.
You love me as much as chips?
Yes, and also mummy.
She's so diplomatic.
Can you believe that? That she loves me as much as chips?
And also mummy. And also you in there.
Carol had pear and gorgonzola pasta.
Please don't
Yum.
do that
That
on my
sounds
leg.
nice, actually. Yeah, that'd be really nice. I can see that working. Really yummy. Mm.
Do you like the sound of that? Are you hungry, Ella?
No, I was just looking at my lips.
Well, I think it is time for dinner, actually. We've been online for a bit.
An
A
hour.
long time. An hour. It's
No,
normal. It's
I'm
normal
not-
Friday night.
I'm not licking my lips for that.
No, what are you licking your lips for then?
Just because of from that.
I see.
Pear and gorgonzola.
Pear and gorgonzola. Do you even know what gorgonzola is?
I have no idea what it is, but it
What do you think
sounds
it is? Quickly.
delicious.
Right. What do you think it is? What kind of food do you think
What
it
do you
is?
think
Gorgonzola.
Hmm.
Think this side. Try thinking that side.
Starts with a. Can I give you a clue? Starts with a ch.
Cha cha cha.
Talking about food.
Food, not a dance. You're
Cha cha
playing.
cha. You can eat. You can eat when people's dancing, and then you eat the whole song. You eat the disc.
So, the disc.
What type of food
What
is
type of food is it, do you think?
Ch.
Chippy.
No, not chips. What are chips made of?
Potato.
Exactly.
Potato.
So, gorgonzola is what? And it begins with ch.
Chili.
Chili, no.
Tomatoes.
Starts with ch. It's a type of ch.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Cheese, yes.
Cheesy weezy.
Cheesy
Just
weezy.
cheese.
Well, Alan wants to know what we're doing this weekend.
Cheesy beezy.
Well, tomorrow we'll be popping out again, won't we?
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's our day out day.
yeah, we go out tomorrow because yeah, we get out and do the shopping and other bits and pieces. Normally have a bit of lunch out. Normally,
Not normally, since
well,
last week.
we've been going to Whole Foods
Oh
and
yeah,
going to
we've
their
been
deli
picking up
get
lunch
stuff
and eating
there.
in the car.
Yeah, in the car, which is quite
when the
lovely.
restaurants weren't open.
And then don't usually do anything Saturday nights because during the week I'm always preparing for something. So I like to not do much on Saturdays. And then Sunday we'll probably be doing something around the house.
Yeah.
Some clearing up, some clearing out, something like that. Perhaps.
We've got.
Although I've got to get that video ready, the teaching
I
video ready.
think some charity shops are open now, aren't they? Because we've done a little bit
Yeah.
of clearing out in Ella's room, and I need to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah, her room needs to be painted.
Really boring stuff.
Yeah, boring stuff. And I
But it's
think
exciting to me
it is exciting
because
to a
I like
certain
getting
degree.
things
Yeah.
sorted.
We're going to. I think we're going to go down and have some dinner.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too. Yeah. Peter says he's run out of dance questions. Someone else's turn. It's a good idea. Good idea, Peter. Draw up some interest in getting some dancing questions to us. You do ask some good questions, Peter. You do ask some good questions. So yeah, we're just going to. I think we're going to go. We're going to have some dinner. I'm starving.
I am hungry.
I'm hungry. So thank you very much for joining us once again. For our pre-dinner drinks. It's nice to get in touch with some of you that we don't see on a regular basis and some of you that we're going to be seeing again soon on a regular basis, which is nice. Yeah, I know eating in the car, Alan, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. But I do make sure that they catch all the crumbs.
He's
Yeah.
very strict with us.
Yeah, very strict. That's it then. Yeah, so it's been lovely. It's been emotional. So please do stay happy, stay healthy, stay dizzy feet, everyone. And Kelly will see you in the morning for a lockdown workout. No, not a lockdown workout anymore. It's just the daily workout.
Just the daily workout.
And I might record your one tomorrow.
Oh really?
We'll record it so that we can then use it as one that we can then.
I'm not sure I can do it properly yet.
That doesn't matter. They need to do it properly, not you. We'll come on.
We'll talk about that.
Okay. Have a good time at the lakes, Alan. Have a good weekend, everyone else. What you're planning to do?
Lake District.
I guess so. That's where the lakes are.
I like the Lake District.
Yeah. Right. It's good night from me.
It's a good night from him.
We'll see you soon. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.